What is going on? It's my time to be free family. If you are new to my channel, please, I welcome you and I appreciate you taking the time to take a look at this video. Over the last several days, we've actually been going through a Live Your Best Life challenge. So if you're just jumping in on the middle of this, please go back to day one, because this is going to be like 30 days on showing you, giving you tips and showing you how you can start living your best life. But in today's video, now we're going to be talking about relationships. We've talked about health. We talked about some other things that you can do, some other tips and strategies that you can do to start living your best life. So now we're going to be talking about relationships. Guys, we have to take a look at our relationships. Okay? But before we jump into that, guys, if you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing, liking this video, sharing this video out for anyone who you feel could actually benefit from this information. My whole goal is to really help people start transforming their minds so that they can live their best life. I won't go into my backstory right now, but feel free. I'm an open book. Feel free to contact me, and I am more than happy to share my story with you. Okay, now, relationships, guys. I'm sure you've heard the saying, and if you haven't, there is this saying that says that whoever we associate ourselves with, more than likely we become. We start picking up their traits, their personalities, their demeanors, things like that. So whoever this is the saying though, if you surround yourself with 5 millionaires, you will become the 6th millionaire. If you, so whoever you surround yourself with, uniquely, not literally, that's who you'll become, but you'll start picking up their traits, their habits, and things like that. So it's always important that you surround yourself with the best possible relationships that you can. So, and like I said again, that's because we start picking up their characteristics, their demeanors. If they are negative Nancy, we start becoming negative. We start picking up those traits and start exhibiting those negative traits that we really don't want to have. But if you surround yourself with positive Paula, you start picking up those positive mannerisms and characteristics. So that's why it's very, very, and very important that we take a look at our relationships and start letting go of some of them. If it's not serving us any good, it may be time to consider letting some of them go. Now, and the reason why I say this is because, we want people in our life to really enhance our life, not tear us down, not bring us down to their level, but we want people who will enhance our life because we are trying to live our best life, right? So I'm going to give you guys 4 tips on what you can do to take a look at your relationships. 4 tips so that you can, start taking a look at your relationships to see if those relationships are actually beneficial to you or if they're actually hurting you. Okay, so the first thing that you really want to do is analyze, how do you feel? Guys, your feelings are your number one instinct. Okay, your feelings are your number one instinct. How do you feel when you're in that close circle of friends? Are you feeling distant? Are you feeling close? Are you feeling energized? Are you feeling drained and exhausted when you're with certain people? How are you feeling? Because that will actually give you a clear indication of if that relationship needs some work or if it needs to be just totally let go of out of your life. Okay, so take a look at some of your relationships and just take note about how you're feeling when you're with that certain person and you're with that close knit of friends. How are you feeling? Are you feeling negative? Are you with people who are complaining all the time? Are you with people who are releasing positive energy in your atmosphere? Take some time and determine how you are actually feeling when you are with those people. So number two is to, guys, we have to maintain high standards. We have to set boundaries for ourselves and have these high standards, so that we can, determine what our standards are. I mean, what are we looking for when it comes to a relationship? Because I know some relationships that we get into or that we have. Some relationships, we can't totally let it go because there's some kind of bond there, whether it be, could be mother, could be father, could be, sister, brother, whatever the case it may be, where you can't totally let the relationship go. However, you can, distance yourself and, have some boundaries for yourself. Because and the reason why I say you want to maintain high standards is because, guys, we know that no one is perfect. And, even your best friends, will rub you the wrong way at times. And I'm not talking about those kind of circumstances. What I'm talking about is the kind of people that you surround yourself with that, maybe you will not stand for something, because you have to determine what your standards are. Okay. And if it's something that you will not stand for, and you have a circle of friends that actually, crosses those boundaries that you've set, and you are constantly allowing that to happen, maybe it's time to consider, reframing that relationship. Okay. Because sometimes, sometimes we, engage with in relationships where it's pulling us down more than it is helping us up. But that is something, your standards, you know your standards are what you put out there. This is something that is personal to you. It doesn't have anything to do with anybody else, but it is something that is personal to you. And you may have to just reevaluate some of the relationships that that you have, because we have to separate the negative ones from the positive ones. Because let's just say, for instance, I had met a couple of people, and they were always talking about people, always complaining, never seen the good in anything. And so what I realized is, I was hanging out with, these people quite frequently. And what I realized was that, that wasn't the way that I felt, because I don't, I live my own life because I want to live my best life. But I noticed that a lot of their negativity was rubbing off on me. And I paid attention, and I started doing the same thing. And so that wasn't me. So I had to reevaluate that relationship because of my standards. I had to really set firm boundaries and set my standards for myself. And some of the relationships I had to let go. I mean, it was difficult, but I had to let them go because it wasn't beneficial to my life. Because, I'm a positive person, and I always want to try to lift people up instead of tearing them down, because I feel like everybody has the opportunity to live their best life. And if I can assist you in living your best life, then so be it. I am happy with that. All right. So moving into the next thing that you can do is ask yourself, are the feelings mutual? In those relationships, do they reciprocate? Okay. Are you giving more of yourself than what you're giving? Are you depositing more into that relationship than what you are receiving? Because a lot of times we will enter relationships and we're just giving our all, but we're not receiving the same in return. And when that happens, we start, that relationships just start to withdraw from our positive bank. And I'm saying from us, our personal self, it starts withdrawing without depositing. And so when that happens, we end up getting, drained, depressed, overwhelmed, and start, having those feelings because we're not having those deposits that we really need from that relationship. So, we want to make sure that we evaluate the relationship and evaluate ourselves to make sure that we are actually giving as much as we're receiving. And that goes on the same on this. If you flip the switch around, are you providing, that relationship with enough? Are you depositing into that relationship, or are you doing more withdrawing than you are depositing? Okay, because that is how you even up the playing field when it comes to relationships. Okay, so you always, 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 want to give as much as you receive. And it doesn't matter on which side of the coin that it's on. Okay, because you want to pull your own weight, and you also want the other person in that relationship to pull their own weight as well. That's why it's important. That's how relationships work. Okay, we deposit, we withdraw, because sometimes we're in need, but sometimes we, want to give. So it all evens out in the end. And the last thing that you can do is nurture your most important connections. Okay, the people, like I said, there's going to be still some negative people in your life, and there's going to be some positive people in your life. But with either one of these relationships, like I said, some of them you can't just totally, let go of it. So in those cases, you just want to evaluate, your current relationships and find out which ones are most valuable to you. Okay, which ones, should you spend your time nurturing that relationship? Because if you have a lot of positive influences in your life, a lot of positive relationships in your life, those may be the ones that you may need to nurture the most, because those are going to be the ones that will fill your bank up. Okay, that way you have more to give to other people and to that relationship, that we're speaking of. Okay, so make sure those people are at the top of your list. And I'm not saying neglect everybody else. What I'm saying is, we have to prioritize the people that we're going to spend the most time with, the people that we're going to nurture the most, as far as in a relationship. Because you'll find that, once you start really nurturing, your relationships, those good relationships, that you're going to receive that nurturing in return from the other person. And you'll feel more energized because you spent so much time, building that relationship and cultivating, that relationship that matters to you most. Guys, you'll get these the benefits and all aspects of your life, especially when you're trying to live your best life. So it's time to really enhance your life with the people who are actually making deposits into your, healthy deposits into your personal bank. Okay, so today, guys, consider your relationships. Okay, and decide which relationships are going to be on your priority list. Okay, so, and make sure those connections, are well nurtured in that respect. So just to go over the four things that I mentioned today. The first thing that you want to do is monitor how you feel. Okay, and then take the time, to set your own standards. Make sure they're, high standards, and maintain those standards for yourself, and don't let anyone, cross those boundaries, and to make you feel, a certain kind of way. And then ask yourself, is there, does that relationship reciprocate? Okay. And nurture your most important connections. So those are the 4 things that you can actually do today to start living your best life when it comes to your relationships. Because relationships, as humans, our relationships are very important to us. Okay, that's how we communicate. That's how we, mingle through life, is, establishing real relationships, establishing deep connections within your relationships, because that's how we build people up. All right, so I really hope you found some value out of this video. Please go ahead and just consider liking and subscribing to my channel. I would really appreciate it, that you help me grow. But I really look forward to serving you more. And I'm gonna wrap this up. This is day 12 of the episode 12. I keep calling them days because I want to stop calling them days, but this is episode 12 of Live Your Best Life Challenge. So again, I hope you guys found some value. I really look forward to serving you more. And as I always say, it's our time to be free. I'll see you in the next video.